it's time for some spring color. Winter has been gray and dreary. It was snowing today, so I am about to put a rainbow into these pots. Join me. Okay, here we are at the propagation station, and as you can see, a few things have changed since I filmed last. And it's not super significant, but I thought I'd give you a quick rundown and also a warning for when you are establishing your own propagation station in your front room where your pets have access. First of all, the box light that I got, the fan, I'm gonna film this now so I can turn the fan off and it won't be in the background for the whole time. I thought that would be fairly annoying, but it turns into white noise and it does help keep things cool. The plants are super happy. As you can see, I use the ever so professional edition of tin foil to help stop some of the bounce lights on the side so that all of the tray was getting better light and it wasn't spilling so much. Still makes some awesome light pictures at night, and I'll put a couple pictures of that at the end of the video so you can see just how cool my disco room is starting to look. Not the intention, but hey, like I said, not mad at it. I'm gonna go with it. This is working out pretty well. The tomatoes are doing okay. I have been seeing a couple things about using some hydrogen peroxide to help stop some problems with tomatoes when they're germinating. And like I said, I have grown tomatoes once inside from seed where I just put them in pots and let them grow, and then I put them outside, and it worked, but not all of them grew as well as they could have. These are already much sturdier because I have transplanted them, potted them up. The last time I did it, I only did it twice. I've done it once now. I'll probably end up doing it twice more before I put them in the ground, but they are doing very well. Look at them. Hello, little plants. You may not be able to see that at all. I'll have to look in the video because the pink light makes things very interesting, and right now it's getting to be dusk and the camera isn't quite sure what to do with the pink light and the overhead light and me standing here in front of the windows. So this will be fun to look at. Down lower, I have my second set of tomatoes. I also have all of my cucumbers. The cucumbers I planted right after the tomatoes were potted up are doing very well. This cucumber hasn't come up yet, and my ground cherries are a little leggy. I've never grown ground cherries inside from seed before, so I'm not sure exactly what to do with those. We'll see. I have a tray of marigolds down lower that are doing very well, and this bottom shelf down here, which is empty right now, has my heat mat. So that bottom germination station with the heat mats is actually where these strawberry plants have been. And I was super worried about the strawberry plants not germinating yet. I put them in the same time as those cucumbers that are doing beautifully, but something that I needed to remind myself was to go read the package. And so when I read the package, it said that the strawberries would take from 14 to 48 days to germinate. So I was like, well, I will not be worried about those anymore because it's only been 7 days. So a good tip, something that I need to remember and remind myself, so I'm reminding you because when I remind other people, it always helps me remember, is to read the packaging. It's a great resource, and I love when seeds come with lots of information on the back that help me as a gardener make great choices about what I want to do and how I want to use them. So now I'm going to turn off the fan on that grow light. Ooh, and I got to go turn off the heater in the house, which is one of the reasons why I'm wearing this hat, which I've had since high school, because as soon as I turn the heater off, it's going to get really cold in here. So I am going to be nice and toasty warm. And it's not just covering up the fact that I'm having a bad hair day. Totally not. Hi, I'm Amy. Welcome back to Hummingbird Hill. I am so excited to be here this afternoon because right now I am looking out at a landscape that is golden and glorious. The sky is this deep, rich, bluish steel gray, and the grass is glowing from the sun. So it goes from kind of dark green up into golden, into the darker tree line, and then into the skies. It is beautiful. If you want to see some more of the pictures of just kind of daily life on the farm and the little tiny funny things that happen or beautiful things I notice, please follow me at at Hummingbird Hill Homespun over on Instagram. I post pictures there daily, often more than once a day, just of things I notice and things that happen here on the farm. Today, the thing that has to happen, the thing that I want to happen, the thing that I'm here talking to you about actually is getting some flowers ready for spring. As you know, I've said a few times, my mother is battling stage 4 cancer and she has a hankering for flowers that will not quit. Last year, we tried to buy as many flowers as possible, but really with the area around both of the houses, there just weren't enough. And there's no way I can afford to buy that many flowers. So the best thing to do is get some started by seed. Last year, this hankering did not come until kind of June-ish. So this year I'm getting a jump start, and I've gone through all of my seed packs and I pulled out the seeds that can be started inside and will mostly transplant well. There's a couple that I'll talk about that I have to be a little more careful with, but I have extra seed packets just in case. Because flowers can be a little tricky to get started, and these are all perennial flowers except for my moss roses, which are just adorable and I love. They're like little fairy flowers, so I had to get some of those. They make a beautiful carpet. So I'm gonna get started planting these. I had to go out and get some more pots. I went through all of the pots that I'm recycling from last year. I have all of my starts in them. They're all filled up, and the local store really only had these. And these are the bigger size of this. These are seed starter pots. Don't know if you can see that very well. I would not plant my vegetables in these for the most part. They're fine, they're biodegradable, they're made from organic recycled materials, but these pots can actually, if you don't tear them up a little bit, they say they'll biodegrade, but they can actually trap your roots in the pot until they biodegrade. They take a while. So even if these are kind of starting to get soggy when it's time to put them in the ground, I'm still gonna slice them or tear them up a little bit so the roots have a way to get out of the pot. Let me just throw those everywhere. So like I said, today's goal is just to get some seeds in pots and just say hi to you, see how you're doing. I actually am so excited. I've had a few more followers join the channel, and a couple people have actually jumped over from Instagram to say hello, which is awesome. Petals on the Paving Stones was so nice to follow my channel and send me a message just to wish me good luck, which I thought was awesome. So I checked out his channel and I'll link it below. He is super funny. His like banner video, I don't know exactly what those are called. I'll figure that out. His like channel introduction video right now, at least it was last time I looked, was a kitchen karaoke that is just hilarious. So you should go watch that and say hi to him just because it's so nice. And actually one of the things I noticed when I looked kind of scrolling through his channel to see a little information about him before I was like, oh, should I recommend this person or not? What I really loved is he's following a lot of small garden channels just to kind of give them a boost and give them support. And I think that is so awesome, because the more that we support each other as community members, the stronger we all are. And I think that's something that if we remember just a little more in this world, we might have a little less stress going on and a little more of that old community spirit, that old pioneer spirit where everyone helped each other out and the world seemed simpler, I guess, even if it may not have been. In any case, oh my gosh, sorry, the sun, the window, it's gorgeous. And I'm gonna put some videos either at the end of this video or in a separate little video with some weather and some other little snippet videos together. But I'm so excited, I can't even talk. I'm sorry, I sound like a doofus. In any case, we have had some amazing weather in the past couple weeks. It is trying to be spring, it is getting there, and it's not quite, which is that fun time when the weather is beautiful and warm and you don't need a jacket one day and the next day it's snowing. That's kind of what it's been. So in any case, I'm gonna get some flowers in and I'll tell you just a little bit about them, but I thought we'd just chat and plant. And if this goes on too long, I'll fast forward it a lot because you've already seen me pot up all my tomatoes. But I just want to tell you a little bit about using these pots, getting some flower seeds started, and especially I wanted to talk about my mom's favorite flowers. Well, one of her favorite flowers, she really doesn't discriminate, but I don't know where to go. The poppy is one of Mom's favorite flowers. And actually, I went back and I looked up these two seed companies that I grabbed when I was at the farm store, because I like I said, I should not be let loose in the farm store when it's getting close to spring, when they have pretty things out like seed packets and bulbs and plants, because then I buy them. So I went back and double checked on these just to make sure that they were not related to any seed companies that I'm not supporting, because sometimes I buy things without thinking, and then I'm like, oh wait, does that fit with what I really want to be sharing with the world? And on the couple of sites that I looked up, both of these, the Ed Hume and the Livingston seeds, were okay. So they're not necessarily brands I would use for my vegetables, but for flower seeds, they're what is available, and so I bought them. Oh, poppies, Mom's favorite. These are hard to get to grow, from what I understand. And I tried to grow some last year, just putting them out in the landscape. They did not do well. But that's really the best place to grow them, because as this packet says, let me just read this to you real quick. Seeds can be sown directly in place from spring through early fall, so they can be sown outside. Do not cover seed from soil with the back of your hand. Seeds can be sowed into flats or individual pots for later transplant. Care must be taken during transplant. It has a long carrot-like taproot, so you need to keep considerable soil around the plant and root, and water well right after transport. So I'm going to try starting these in these pots, which is one of the reasons I chose the bigger size for this batch, because all I'm going to do is tear the pot up a little bit to give that root some space when I put it out in the ground. So I'm hoping this combination will work well together. But I also happen to have like 6 other packs of poppy seeds to try if this doesn't work. So I am going to get started with that. I have my soil mix here, which is nice and wet and gloppy. I took just some basic organic omri rated potting soil, and I got it wet because I don't want to wet the seeds. So I'm going to put the wet soil in, put the seeds on top, maybe give a light spritz with a spray bottle. But other than that, I am not going to water except from the bottom up until these are more established. And even then, I'll probably water from the bottom up, because I think that's something I'm supposed to do based on all of the research I've been doing lately about how to do all this stuff properly, which I am still figuring out. And I really appreciate you joining me on this journey. It's kind of weird to be 1 year out planning your garden, just kind of trying things out, looking up information, and then the next year, I got way too much water in this potting mix. I may have to go add some more soil to it. Yeah, that's a little soupy. So hold on, I will be right back. If I can make it there without spilling everything. Okay, as I was saying, I've got my dirt back. I'm gonna give it a little stir up to get it. Now that I've added more dirt, I probably added too much, of course. But as I was saying, it's just kind of strange, I guess, for me especially, to be like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and I'm gonna get on there with my funky hair and wear a beret and talk to people, because why not? Oh, by the way, my beret has a tassel. Like I said, I've had this beret since I was in high school, and the tassel used to be the same color as the hat, but it is now no longer the same color. It is faded, but I still wear it, because who doesn't love a beret with a tassel? But so, as I was saying, it's kind of strange for me, especially, to be starting a YouTube channel, and a YouTube channel about gardening and kind of growing and learning and figuring out this whole life thing while I'm in the garden. Because frankly, last year the garden kind of saved my life. Not to be over dramatic or anything, but I was not in a good spot last year. I was just struggling with dealing with expectations not being what I thought they would be, not being where I thought I would be. I was in China, and now I'm back here on the farm, which is a place I love, but it wasn't a place I was planning on returning to quite so soon. And then being back here with a mom, sorry, some dirt fell, who, when we bought the farm, well, again, long story about the farm, get into that later. If you stick around long enough and are not annoyed by this chatter and just want to see the seeds planted, I will probably make a video where I just fast forward through all the potting and you can see that quick, because that's kind of funny. And so if you don't really care about like my story in the garden, you can go watch that. But otherwise, I'm just gonna chat and pot at the same time, because what else am I gonna do when I'm potting up hundreds and hundreds of flower seeds? So one of the toughest things about coming back for both Mom and I is when we bought the place, we kind of thought we would be and ended up out here together, which again is a long story and a journey, was not where the plan was. I mean, I lived in Seattle, I lived in New York, I was in Shanghai. I'd always wanted to travel and do different things. I did not picture myself on a farm ever. Like, that's not ever one of my things. Now, I rode horses when I was younger. I've always been in the garden, but having a farm space, not something that I've wrapped my head about. Like, not something that has really been in my, like, way of thinking to some extent. So when I ended up back here, and I ended up back here with Mom sick, that was a challenge, a huge challenge, no other way to put it. And Mom knows that, so hi, Mom. I'm talking about us, sorry. I'll tell you more about her. She's awesome. She's crazy. She's insane. She's hardcore as far as like the things she's gotten accomplished in her life. But I'm spilling everywhere. This is why I should do this outside, but it is too cold. Oh my gosh. Not even good. I'm not even joking here. This is going to be a total mess. Thankfully, they invented such things as vacuums, and I happen to have one. So yeah, I got back here and I was just like really holding on to things that I expected or ways I had viewed my life happening, and I hadn't really formed a vision for this kind of new reality. That's the truth. And other things happened. I actually also got divorced last summer, right around the time I was starting my garden. And there's a long story with that, and I'll talk about that at some point too. But I hadn't created any sort of vision for what this new reality would be. Mom and I had planned to go travel together, to go to New York, to see shows, to refinish furniture, to do some stuff. And frankly, that was after her having fought 2 rounds of cancer, having 40% bone mass, being in constant pain, and she refuses to take pain medications because she wants something that will work at the end. Even Advil and Tylenol. The woman is insane, I tell you. Yeah. So when I say she's hardcore, I mean it. Wow. The things that you don't expect to get you sometimes. Sorry. To edit that out, to not edit it out. I don't know. Anyway, so we had planned to do stuff. And those things weren't possible. So here I was, home from China, a job that had just, like, I hadn't even really explored China because I planned to be there for like 5 years, and I was there 2. And the first year, I got myself established. I didn't save up a ton of money. And the second year, instead of traveling and stuff, I saved up all my money because we had found out Mom had cancer, and I knew I wanted to come back and not have to like just find work that like to get money. I wanted to be able to spend time with Mom. So that was the thing. I was back here, but I hadn't really gotten to explore China. I hadn't really gotten to travel in that area of the world. And yeah, so there we were. I had the garden. I started watching YouTube, and I got going with the garden. And really, that all led to a whole bunch of different stuff. And what it led to was me finding a part-time job, which is actually perfect because it gives me the opportunity to take care of the animals, work in the garden, and still have income coming in. So I'm not super stressed about that anymore. Still mildly stressed because part-time does not pay the bills, at least not the way I was used to paying the bills. But it also gives me time to hang with Mom. And right now what hanging with Mom means is we mostly sit around and just are together, which is awesome because, whew, that is something that I will miss. The pug, you haven't met Peanut. I haven't talked about her much here, but Peanut the pocket pug, if you want to see pictures, also on my Instagram. She spends half of her day on Grammar's lap, so that's going to be a transition for her. In any case, all of this stuff was just going on, and I'm like, well, I need to do something, because my part-time job, while I love it and I actually, like, it's the perfect situation for me right now and I am really excited about it in some ways, it's not my passion job. It's not my dream job. It's a job that I do my best at because that's what I do mostly. Now that I'm in this place where I'm remembering, oh yeah, that is who I wanted to be, and I don't have to hold on to notions of, I thought I was supposed to be this, or I was going to be that, or all those things that we hold on to that hold us back. So yeah, this channel is kind of like me saying, you know what? To heck with all that I thought I was supposed to be, and I'm just gonna try being who I am right now. And who I am right now is someone with a garden that I love and 10 acres of land that I have no idea how to manage or use well or build a sustainable life on, and I really want to explore more and more of that. So I thought that it might be fun. Oh my gosh, the clouds are so, ooh, they're gorgeous. Actually, when I heated up when I went to get the more soil and heat it up, because like I said, I'm microwaving my soil just because Gary over on the Rusted Garden said to, so there we go. Hopefully Gary knows what he's talking about. He seems like a super nice fellow, plus I love his channels, so there you go. I had to go take a picture at the back door. That's one thing I do, or I've started doing basically every day, because it is so amazingly gorgeous around here. I can't even explain to you how much, like, this nature thing. And I've always, like, we've gone camping. I've always been a nature person. Growing up, you know, walking through forests, climbing over logs, all that kind of stuff. We did that. That was me. I just kind of really lost that in the city and in the, I don't know, the push to be something or someone or do something or be someone different. So anyway, there are amazing pictures of the clouds, and there's one I should be running to take right now that's directly in front of me, but I'm not, because I'm sitting here talking to you and trying to get these flowers potted before it gets insanely dark outside. So I'm making sure I'm putting in the soil pretty firmly here as I'm doing this and chatting with you, because one thing that I have done in the past when I potted up plants or transplanted them, sorry, I'm just getting a little comfy here. I have this little stool thing because otherwise I'm too tall and can't see the table, and I don't, yeah, in any case. So one thing that I have done that I shouldn't have done is not put the dirt in quite so firmly, and it really helps the seeds establish when you put the soil in firmly. In any case, I'm gonna say that a lot for some reason. In any case is like my go-to transition phrase right now. And I also happen to love alliteration. You may not have noticed that, Hummingbird Hill Homespun. But it is my favorite literary device, and I know there are those that say it is cliche and overused, but I don't care. So there. I don't know where that came from. I'm just going with it. Goal to get some flowers in. The other thing, so this whole YouTube channel thing is just kind of weird for me. Like, I'm not like this cute little whippersnapper who French tucks her shirts in her pants or goes thrift shopping and finds all the coolest scores, though I do love thrift shopping and I do find really good things when I go. I don't care about unboxing things. In fact, in my propagation station video, I'm not sure if some of this footage will end up in that video or not, because one of the things I figured out was why my sound did not work in my garden video when I put down all the cardboard. I figured that out because it happened again when I was talking about rearranging the propagation station and doing all that. I even unboxed my new grow light and showed you my new timed plugin, which actually I really love, and I will find the box and show you that because that has made a huge difference over there. It's an 8-sided power strip, and one half can be timed and the other half can be constant. So my lights are all on the time side and my heat mats are constant, which I love. And it also helps because in the morning I keep forgetting to turn on the grow lights, or I kept forgetting to turn on the grow lights, and I could set this timer and it's coming up. And I know everyone has timers and knows about them, but I kind of thought, nah, I don't really need a timer. I'll remember. and I love it. So there you go. I'm gonna actually put some seeds in here, and I am going to start with, oh my gosh, this mess. Wow. Let me just straighten up a little bit here. So yeah, I don't know. I'm starting this YouTube channel because I figure there's a lot of people out there who maybe should like let themselves be seen a little more. Maybe we all just need to be like, I don't know, bold enough, be ourselves, be whoever we think we should be what we want to try and be. Not let all those people who have said, oh no, you won't be this, or you won't be that, or you should do this, or you shouldn't do that. Let them control our lives. I'm like, nah, you won't go to jump in some bowl of chocolate moldy pudding or something. Yeah, do that. So anyway, this is what I'm playing with. This is why I started the YouTube channel, because I have a lot of like kind of innate gardening, like I do things and they work out, but I don't always know why. And I haven't always known why. And I haven't always let myself grow in the garden the way I want to. So this is a great opportunity for me to share that journey with you. And when I make mistakes, as you can tell, I'm just going to tell you about them. I'm not going to try and be like, oh no, I didn't make that mistake. Look at this lovely hydrangea instead. I'll be like, oh dude, I totally killed all my plants. And that's likely to happen more than once. I'm just saying. I'm going to push these down a little more because my soil is still super wet. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm just starting the seeds on top. They will be fine. This will dry out a little bit, but I may need to add a little more dry stuff to the top and spritz it down. I'm not sure. Gonna try, see what happens. Right now I'm getting my fingers all messy. Woo! Squishy, 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 squishy. You need a little more dirt. See, I said I thought I was pushing it down tight. I wasn't. You really got to get your fingers in the dirt. And that is something that I should be wearing gloves again to do. And as per usual, my gloves are nowhere to be seen. Oh well. You need some more dirt too. Let's get you in here. There we go. So anyway, that's kind of a rambling what's going on in my world. This video is going to end up being like 2 hours long if I just keep chatting and planting, because frankly, I live in the country, so I don't have that many people to talk to, so I can talk to you all a long time. Ooh, look, see this plant? I've already split this pot. The rest are a little sturdier. I pushed that one down a little too hard apparently. Oops. Still going to plant in it, see what happens. Doesn't hurt to try. The first things I'm going to plant are some blanket flowers. These are perennials and they are gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that. They're gorgeous. As I said in my propagation video, actually I think that whole bit ended up with no sound. Oh, I figured that out because I figured someone called on my phone, which is what I'm filming on. And I took the call and I had unplugged the microphone. And then I put the microphone back in, but I was still in the filming window. Like when I did that, I didn't go out of the filming window and come back in. And I think that is why the sound didn't work. That is my theory. If I get a phone call, I will try again. But as soon as that happens, I will check the footage before filming more. Because I filmed like this whole part where I was talking about the new grow light I got and the planting and this and that. And yeah, it's all with no sound. So it's me standing here going like this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna put 3 or 4 seeds, I think, in each of these pots just to give a good chance of germination. I'm kind of spreading around the edge of the pot instead of like clumping them in the middle, so that way if I need to separate them, depending on how they grow. Again, I haven't really started flowers inside a lot. I've mostly grown vegetables. I'm not really a flower garden kind of person. I mean, I love flower gardens. I like to look at them, but I haven't had so much space to deal with flower gardens before. We've always had daffodil bulbs, and I had a gorgeous iris ring around my strawberry stump that I had out here. And I've had bulbs, but the flowers from seeds, not something I've really done. So this will be a fun experiment, for me at least. We'll see what you think. I think the light is getting a little crazy because it is getting dark outside. So I feel like I am super glowy. Ooh, I could do like a video about glow up. Is that a thing? I think that's a thing. Anyway, so I'm going to plant 4 pots right in this tub with each of the pots, with each of the flower types I have. And so I'm going to put about 4 seeds in each pot. And I need to remember to label them, which I'm totally going to do after I stop talking to you because you've already watched me write 30 some labels once. I don't know how interesting that can be twice. You tell me, let me know in the comments. I'm just kind of going with what I'm doing right now. I don't know exactly what's going to work. I don't know how this whole YouTube business thing goes. Oh, Sweet Williams. These last summer when Mom was having a hankering, I don't think you can see that at all. When Mom was having a hankering for flowers, I got a whole bunch of seeds and I put them, we have this hill, I'll take you to the hill, it's one of my biggest projects right now. I will not take you right now because it's cold and now it's getting dark outside. But I scattered thousands of wildflower seeds. And it was too late in the season. Really all of these that say not to start inside, say to start actually for the most part outside as soon as the soil can be worked in the spring, and some say even like a few weeks before the last frost. So I started those flowers a little late. And one of the only kinds that came up were Sweet Williams. And I did not know what kind they were until I was just watching Charles Dowding. These are tiny. I'm just going to sprinkle a whole bunch on each one and hope for the best. Charles Dowding's channel, he had a new video out a couple weeks ago, and I'll see if I can find it, link it below. And he was showing, what was he showing? I think he was showing his flowers around, and he mentioned that he had Sweet Williams, and he showed it, and it was this flower, the one that grew out on the hill. And it was, oh, Charles, you've saved the day again. Seriously, I talk to the TV sometimes. Sue me. Again, I live in the country. I talk to donkeys. It happens. So that's also one of the things I think that's kind of really exciting about this whole YouTube thing is we can build our own communities. We can find people from all over the world who love to do the same things we do. And for those of us who live on farms, we may not have anyone near us. We may have our closest neighbor 15, 20 minutes away. Now my neighbor happens to be right down the hill. The edge of our property kind of runs here, so it's fairly close. But still, we may not actually see people who, I'm gonna plant 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna plant 8 containers of these actually because they were fabulous. They grew well. In any case, so that whole notion of community that I think there's this huge lack of in society, and I think we feel it, this kind of underlying sense of stress and frustration that makes it really easy for us to get overwhelmed sometimes. And this is kind of a sociological thing, and I'm talking about whatever's coming to my head right now, so if you just want to see flowers, like I said, I'll fast forward a bit and show you all this working without all the talking. All you'll see is me looking like this without words going, and it'll be super funny, maybe? I don't know. But there's like this whole underlying sense of unease and frustration that kind of comes with a time where our eras are changing so fast that we can't even name them. Like we used to have like the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, and we're moving up, and eras are like 200 and some years. And it's taking, we discover new tools or we discover a new metal, and that defines our era. And we get up to a place where all of a sudden our eras are 100 years. We still have time to kind of process it and then look back on that era and name it. But right now we're in this kind of time and space where our eras are, and it really sped up with the Industrial Revolution, blah, blah, blah. You can look at the history, you can say, what in the heck are you talking about? And why are you talking about this on a gardening channel? I'm like, well, what else do I want to talking about when I'm putting a whole bunch of seeds in? I already said I was going to put the seeds in. You can watch me do that part. I don't need to tell you about it every single time I do it, right? Anyway, our eras started speeding up a ton. Like so fast we can't name them, especially since World War II. And there are things invented right now that we don't know about that will change the course of the world's history. And that era has already gone by in a minute because something else has already been invented. Well, it will change that era's like outcome. And we don't know about it. We can't define what we can't look back on and see. Eras are named when you look past, when you look back on them from the future. Like, we name this, oh, it was the postmodern era, it was the this era. And since the postmodern era, we're all kind of going like, what are we doing? Yeah, I mean, you may not totally know that, but there's this like underlying sense of unease and angst and frustration and existential, that's a technical term, by the way. Anyway, there's just a lot of that going on, and we're all stressed out. And there's a lot of stuff to be stressed out about. But I think if we forget that the essence of who we are, the essence of our potential, we're gonna buy into all of that angst, however you want to say it, and hype, and the marketing and the media that drives us to buy more, because if we don't buy more, we don't exist, we don't contribute, we don't do this, we don't do that, we're not enough. Ooh, my camera just turned off. I hope there's still sound. In any case, I was saying thank you so much for coming and joining me. Now I have to check the camera because otherwise, hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so it was a good thing that I went to check because apparently the iPhone does not appreciate it when you talk for 22 minutes straight and film yourself. So now that I've deleted 72-ish other things, I hope that I can get this little exit done. And I also noticed that because it's almost totally dark outside now, I have some really great shadows going along behind me. I could almost do a little shadow puppet show, except I'm not really good. I almost got the wolf dog. It's not quite right. Yeah, no, not working. I'll have to work on that for the next time. But I really appreciate you just hanging out while I am getting some flowers potted up for Mom. I'm not sure exactly what else to do when you're sitting around potting up flowers and filming it, but chat. So thank you for listening while I was sharing a little bit more of my story and my journey in the garden. I hope that you are going to go and get yourself a rainbow planted so that your spring is just a little more colorful. And if you would hit that little red subscribe button and click that little dingly bell so that you're notified when I make a new video, that would be awesome. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking down below. I promise that I will say hello back and answer any questions that you might have at the moment. But right now, I hope that you will come back next time so we can do a little bit more growing together.